Red Bull gives you wings.
I was not expecting a 13-2 fracture for version 1. What the hell is happening? Version 1's offense, Wyatt. I mean, it started off 10-2 in the first half. They were fast, they knew what they wanted, and they knew how to execute.
Yeah, that was a super impressive first half from version 1. Seeing what they were doing with the Gecko was really cool, just playing so fast off the back of it. A lot of teams where you see the Gecko kind of going wrong right now is that they put too much into the hands of that little wingman to plant the spike on its own, but that was never a problem for them. They were so quick to support Lil Bro running in there. Fluorescent was so fast into the site. The utility all around it. They used the Cypher cage to actually protect the wingman while the plant was going down. Flash is coming out behind the cage for Fluorescent to swing and fight the player that might have been dug in on site. Those executes were just so well thought out and effective, and Shopify just could not find an answer to deal with these fast hits for the majority of that first half. And then once the timeout kind of finally came in later into the half, they started making a good adjustment, which was to stop playing on the sites, because those site players were just getting bogged down with utility. And so you saw Flowerful start to play a little bit more passive off site, playing off the cam. They were trying to control hauls with a few of the players instead. And then, you know, if they went to the site where they weren't stacked, they would just opt to go for a bigger retake. But those adjustments just came in too late, and even a couple of the rounds where they did started making those adjustments, they still lost because the player skill on version 1 was just so damn good.
Yeah, and on top of like the player skill, once it got down into those post plants, the post plant utility for V1 was so well drilled that SR, a comp they were running with double flash, should be good for those retakes. They were never able to crack those rounds open.
It was cool. We saw some cool combos. I knew you guys were curious about the Gecko with the Thrasher and then the Orbital Strike. I mean, how could you ever defuse in front of them? That offense was so gross. But Mimi, we highlighted the IGLs before this game, and Mel proved that she just time and time again has that solid game plan.
Yeah, I wanted to take a look at a specific round here that I'm going to pull up, and this is round number 9, talking about the fact that in some rounds, I felt like Shopify actually had a really good idea of what to do, and it still didn't work out. In this round, Noya has this Killjoy lockdown online, Sarah has the Thrash as well, and for Shopify, they actually do make a read that this is going to be a hit towards the B site, that it's going to be that classic play where you put the Killjoy lockdown in underpass, and you see the setup. They have the breach player here ready to stun north side, and these players ready to wrap into the underpass and take that space, which is the absolutely correct read here. But as I let this round play out, despite having that fantastic original idea, V1's coordination and trading still just won them this round in really strong fashion. You can see on your minimap now, the players on Shopify are starting to wrap into the underpass. You see KP is actually going to just be holding on this line with a stun ready off the contact of her team, which is pretty much the right play to make in this one. V1 will make noise as they start to head their way down, and the second that this stun gets popped, there's instantly that reaction stun as well coming through. But the issue is that Fluorescent is already so far ahead of this one that she manages to get through and get this absolutely miraculous trade onto Sonder. And if I go back another second here, you'll notice the second kind of piece that's a reaction to this is that actually Sarah is also going to be popping her ultimate. The Thrash is going to come into the mix here. And this ult comes around the corner after Floor gets this opening kill. Then the Thrash is clearing deep, pushing through, and KP gets stuck out in the open. Floor pops a showstopper, and it gets chaotic in the underpass, but this exchange ends with V1 up and then getting this Killjoy ult down. And at this point, Shopify have absolutely no way that they can react to this. You see, Benita will try and fight forward, Lori will try and make a play, but it's all fallen to pieces. And rounds like this happen somewhat repeatedly throughout this one. Wyatt, you were talking about some of those adaptations being made, some good ideas coming through for the side of Shopify, but still, V1 always had a quick reaction. And that's something that has been kind of a hallmark of Mel's calling back on Cloud9 and on this team as well. They might be newer than that C9 squad that was always on top of the game here in North America, but they still have that fantastic coordination to boot.
Yeah, Wyatt agrees. He's like, how do I get that going on my OBS? he's computing the IT right now.
Actual old man moment. How was Mimi drawing on the screen? What kind of technology? That doesn't make sense.
She's a scientist, she's an artist, but why, besides Mel, we also wanted to highlight Fluorescent, comparing the duelists against Sonder 2. We knew Fluorescent was gonna be a star in this game.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? We wouldn't be a real analyst desk if we didn't talk about the duelists and how many kills they're getting. That's what makes us real analysts out here. Yeah, I mean, once again, Floor just putting on a mechanical masterclass, and was one of the main reasons that in a lot of these rounds, even when Shopify were doing the right thing, it just didn't matter because they couldn't actually trade Floor out. There were so many situations where Floor would get the first kill and then somehow still get the second kill on the next player swinging. It was really tough to watch in some of those situations because you could see Shopify knew what they needed to do, but it just didn't matter when she's playing at such an unbelievable level.
Yeah, it was absurd. And on the other side, we really built this matchup at being two-star duelists that can be so well enabled by their team and find the same value, but Sonder wasn't able to really find footing in this game consistently. It was a comp that was built to try and give her opportunities, double flashes to support the Neon. They were going for a lot of those north side crunches, a lot of the early space-taking ideas, which wasn't a bad read, but the thing is, the spacing was slightly off. V1 would get an opportunity, and V1's trading was just so much better that anytime Floor managed to get that opening, Shopify was just unable to recover, and that leads to the stump that we've now seen, and this now puts us in a position where, like, expectations are totally flipped in my head. I came into this like, okay, I shouldn't be expecting C9. I shouldn't be expecting a team to be favored and go crazy against Shopify, a team who's kind of ruling as second best in the world off of champions, but they've just been, honestly, destroyed in a way that I have not seen them get beat in a long time.
I know, I'm trying so hard not to be a map one Miranda right now, but 13-2 is quite a statement to make. And that statement was, who is the best team in North America? This is the best of 3. We're already on match point for version 1. But Wyatt, as we pull up the map set, our next one is going to be Icebox. What are your vibes going into this one?
Listen, don't worry about being a map one Miranda. Here in Valorant, we like to overreact immediately. Whatever just happened, throw out the old narratives. It's time to overreact, baby. So, Fracture, Shopify Rebellion's pick. They go down 13-2. Icebox, it's going to be somewhat closer, but version 1, I'm feeling like this is going to be in the like 13-6 kind of region here, Mimi. We're going to get the duelist versus duelist, Sonder, Fluorescent, double jet going at it type map, but I'm just losing hope at this point, Mimi. Version 1 just looked way too good on that first one.
The copium supply is starting to run out. This is a tough one here, especially since V1, the max rounds that they've ever dropped on this map in their current form, 4. That's going to be pretty tough to go up against. Talking about the compositions, though, it's a question of, do we get this double controller? And Shopify do go for it, and that honestly worries me, because when you play without the Sage on this map, double controller relies on a lot of coordination. It relies on you setting up Sonder to get deep, to push forward, to allow that cove to get a plant down. And if you look at the comp, they're playing the variation with no Sky, a Sova instead, so you don't have flashes to fight through your own walls. You don't have that level of utility to set Sonder up. And if she struggles in the same way that she did in map number 1 with this composition, I feel like this series could just be over 2-0.
Oh, I don't know. We have to overreact, Wyatt. Is it going to be a 2-0 for you too?
That is our job. I mean, at this point, with it being their map pick, you kind of have to go with the 2-0, right? But I don't think it is over for Shopify by any means. They have looked good on Icebox previously. We're in a situation where, looking at the map pool, both of these first 2 picks should be good for both teams. So they're down, but they're not out. It's really a matter of, I think, how they come into this map. If the momentum carries over from the first one, that is a worrying sign.
Yeah, version 1 are 4-0 on Icebox, most recently 13-2 against FaZe Clan, and looking at the Icebox for Shopify Rebellion, 13-6 against Xset in that quarterfinal. You can go and watch the VOD if you want a preview of that, but I want to watch the game live. Will it be a 2-0 or not? It's not the end of Shopify Rebellion regardless, because we have a lower bracket either way. So let's send it over to our casters, Doug and Bala.
Is this the start of a rebirth or the finishing lines of an obituary? It's tough to say, but if anything is going to carry over from the first map, Bala, this could get out of hand very quickly.
Yeah, it definitely could. I mean, the desk is trying the hardest to cope for it and not to and I give them good reason for it. We've got to try to make this exciting, and you really expected it out of this match. That first one was completely out of left field. You really did not expect that to go 13-2. That is one of the most ridiculous on the map pick of Shopify as well. Obviously, everybody was hyped about version 1. We wanted to see what their level would be like. We wanted to see how they would match up against Shopify, and that was so hard of a stomping that you kind of get put out of it, right?
Yeah, yep. You can't even really infer a lot from a beating that bad, except, well, we got stomped, right? Like, you don't really get a chance to learn anything. It's just a flurry. You blink and it's over.
And we already get really aggressive.
Yeah, and Mel's playing up there by herself. Now starting to take a few steps back as rotates come over at just the right time, man.
And already you're seeing Shopify being studied up on Harbor. Viper on this map, the Cove being used in the proper position. A lot of teams who start off with that, using this gun for the first time, put it in a really bad spot. So let's see how V1 responds.
I wonder if it's because the setups are good or because version 1 was just not on site initially, and it seems like it is a bit of that, yeah.
I mean, that retake was beautiful. Benita behind the high tide has a chance to stop in the plant, but already got half on the spike. That retake was beautiful. You had 4 coming in from top side. Everybody was there in time. The high tide is going up, and that's the cue for them to go. They just go right through it. It's not a problem for them at all. The dash on top, the molly that's landing back yellow from Noya. There's a lot of detail there. Hard to break down in one fell swoop, but suffice it to say, that was not just a skill tip. That was absolutely a planned retake that worked beautifully. And if that's the case, I wonder what else is in store here on Icebox.
Oh, they're forcing. Shopify choosing to buy up.
Risky.
Maybe catch him slipping.
They're going for a mid-split, like a very fast mid-split.
You wonder here if Sarah uses a dart early.
Cove is in position actually to updraft dash and plant inside of it. So really, oh my goodness.
That's cheeky.
That's the
aggressive
overheat from Flora that we were wondering if it was going to be happening at this event.
Yeah, but it's dope if it works, right? And it usually works, so I respect it, but Saunders handled the pressure very well.
Blocking sight.
Such a key part of the conversation from the previous map is how she was essentially silent. She was neutered. There wasn't a whole lot she could do. And while she gets a couple of cool openers, again, handles pressure.
Lineups here, but
it's a 1v2. Dude, she's so far away, too.
Oh, and the wall is actually going to stop her from being able to fight this. Does the second molly land with the... No, I don't think it landed. Alexis is not getting ticked. The wall blocked it. That is so unfortunate. There would have been maybe a chance. You saw how she did find a little angle there to the side of the wall. And it's a great eco for them, but I mean, not an eco. They forced into that. They still got the spike down, so they're going to be able to get like another couple of sheriffs, Stinger buy back into it. But the risk that you're taking by going for that force on second round is so high, especially once you just got stomped. You could start to see a scoreline that is exactly the same as we started on Fracture.
Yeah. And even the thought of
it wasn't the wall. Sorry to cut you off. It wasn't the wall that blocked it. She just missed it entirely.
She just missed? Huh. It is a bit of an alarming sign, I would even say, the fact that they were willing to go for the force there. I mean, it's so early in the map, and you're choosing to set yourself so far behind if it goes sideways, which it did.
Get out of my way.
It almost feels like desperation that has continued from the previous map.
Yeah, I mean, Sonder had a good start, so, I mean, she has her knives up at this point, and also they got spiked down, so I kind of agree with you, but I'm not sure if that's entire, like, it's really hard to read into it just from that little situation, but I was thinking the exact same thing when they forced at the beginning.
Flora top spotting 2, dashes back, stays alive.
Oh, missed the dash for Sonder.
Yeah, that's all right though. No one else on site. She's still able to take some of the space. Still, you have the blades.
Let's test this A retake. This is already great success from Shopify. One of the key win conditions is getting this plant down because it's such a good post plant. Let's see how this retake is for V1 on the A side.
2 blades already missing. All 5 of them missed, and Sonder dies. That was the only bit of punch they had, the only bit of oomph. Well, KP might be able to swing it back.
They blocked the wall. I mean, they blocked the spike with the wall.
Yeah.
Benita, again, trying to play for something late, but I don't think there's going to be any chance here.
No, the ghost.
Yeah, against a full barrier, full health Sage Wall. Yeah, no chance.
No need for this.
Talk about retakes, man. That, again, strong. But once again, lighter by. The first one on pistol, I give him a little bit more credence there for, and that one also, I think Sonder losing the fight in backside is definitely the one that, the catalyst to them having such an easy time, but they definitely flooded that really difficultly, and I like how Floor goes top gen as well. These different positions that they're thinking of are definitely more on the unique side.
Back to full guns for Shopify. Full rifles, full armor. Meanwhile, it's not quite the same story for version 1. It did not matter last time. We'll see if it does this time around.
I suggest you
Them trying to bonus with the Reckoning coming in, though. See how Alexis chooses to use the wall. She's going to use it early to actually deny space, but they're falling off site anyway, so that's going to be dealt with.
Floor is weak here, but Benito the first to fall.
She's trying to flank mid.
Yeah. Now you're going to have this ferocious flank coming around. The nice thing is there's a turret from Flowerful that's covering spawn.
enemy mark.
While version 1 continue to funnel, they're going to come in from their own side of the map. I thought Floor was going to get the second. I'm not going to lie to you. Saunders gone big, though. The res brings Floor back. Oh, she may have made a meal out of that one. And now it's Floor's turn with the blades. And Flowerful's left in this 1v3. Still has a nano. The tap from Alexis is just the fake. It's just the feint. But Floor has the flick.
And it's 4-0. 4 rounds in a row. Looking like the exact same streak that we saw starting off on Fracture. And the eco making it seem like it's going to be 5-0 at the end of this.
Yeah, absolutely. No blades, no real ults. It's just the sheriffs and some armor. That's tough. That's tough to navigate.
I really hope this isn't as brutal as we saw on Fracture. And we're running out of steam in terms of economy already for Shopify. Most of these rounds, they haven't had rifles. We've only seen one gun round from them so far, and now Floor has the op-up. We didn't get to see that on the first map because she was playing Raze. And by the way, such flexibility for a young player like her as well. So many Jet players, so many Star Duelist players have the problem where they just can't play Raze. We're seeing it so many places all over in the Partnership League and below as well.
You start to see that wall go up in the drone. Right behind it, Hunter's Fury.
Gosh. That lane is so easy for them, and they also tried to combo it with the vulnerable from the molly, but all 3 pulses missed, so.
Yeah.
Back to
Well
retake.
handled by Shopify. And the spike back down, you see the cove. Instantly cleared. They have found success here before. Shopify have been able to get these spikes down. It's the post plants that get sideways, that get hairy.
And Floor has the op this time, so she doesn't have the ability to dash like she did before.
The rest of version 1 does, though.
One enemy
And then
remaining.
KP's all the way up in front of that Viper wall. That might cause problems. Only last player, though.
Yeah.
They're
That's
so
a
aware.
one and done. Yep. I mean, and even if they aren't, when you have so many numbers like that, yeah, you drop one, but at that point, position's given away, and you're left in a 1v3. It's impossible.
And in terms of, like, the key things that could end up, you know, bringing Shopify back into the series, it's plays like that where there's cheeky repositions or anything like that, specifically like Benita. But V1 has been so aware that third round where it was that bonus where they had the Reckoning ults going up on A. Benita tried to go for a mid lurk, and against the setup that V1 is running, it's like almost impossible for it to get down because of that. Oh my goodness, I didn't even notice Fluorescent. I said Fluorescent can't updraft dash like she did last time, and she still made it to top yellow somehow and, with an op. Like, okay.
Pause.
And the funny part is she missed a shot before that. It's like a lot of times, I mean, not really at the highest level, but a lot of times people miss that shot and they're like, okay, let's reposition. Let's try to get a little slower.
Yeah.
She just goes forward. Love the playstyle out of her. And same scoreline, same deal, 5-0, timeout from Shopify Rebellion. Give a chance for Broadwiz to talk to the players.
I think a key of, we talked about it a little bit in the previous round, but you see it on the timeline now. 5 rounds going in favor of version 1, yes, but they're all diffuses. So Shopify have been very successful in getting the spike down and finding space, but it's just been the retakes from version 1 that have been suffocating.
Yeah, and honestly, at this point, if I'm V1 in that timeout, I'm saying these retakes are working beautifully. I want to throw in a round where we're not really, where we're challenging, and maybe that's exactly what's going to happen here on this B side. But for the most part, I'm also saying let's just rely on these retakes. It's so easy for us.
Yeah.
They swapped the op on Anoya, by the way.
Spike down B.
This just feels like they're going for jugulars, man. Because you're right. You have 5 rounds of consistently playing through retakes and feeling comfortable in that, and then you called it, right? Out of the timeout, throw a wrinkle into the plan. Keep Shopify on the back foot. They go aggressive, and they get 2 openers.
And it sucks, too. In the case of Shopify, like, at this point, you have to fully focus on your ideas, too. It's not like you can go out of that timeout and be like, okay, well, we're pretty sure that they're going to call something like this. No, it's definitely completely addressing your own issues.
Right. Yep.
And how you're executing. When you're down this hard, it's not the same, like, late timeout where it's 8-8, stuff like that. You're like, okay, we're expecting them to call this. No, it's not dealing with the antes at all. It's dealing with what they think might actually work. That's so
Wall
good.
from Alexis. Yeah, man. The timing is flawless.
And again, this time trying to deny the spike. Four still has just a Vandal. Noy is the one with the op, so she can definitely get aggressive if she wants to.
Left.
And there's no cove, remember.
Spike
Wall
planted.
falls. Oh my goodness, Lori might be dead.
Success once again, though. Spike planted. And another outnumbered situation for Shopify.
No, they don't check it.
It's gone even now. Flowerful's weak, though.
One enemy remaining.
Lori surely can't ult from there. She's so close. They did so well to get it back to equal numbers, to even footing. But the result's the same.
Yeah, exactly the same. Another plant, another defuse. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen that level of consistency in this regard. Like, the way that the rounds are going are equal every single time. I mean, obviously there was a little bit more aggression there from version 1. They really were trying to deny the spike, especially after they lost the cove, or they got the cove down in the hands of KP. She was the first pick. But this is also, I mean, them being very prepared against a composition like this. This is definitely meta now from Shopify Rebellion. A lot of people who haven't watched VALORANT in a long time might be looking at this like, oh my goodness, they're playing Harbor. But no, Harbor Viper is very meta. Just the ability to have so many walls on a long vision map like Icebox like this. You can immediately see the reason for that on the B side, but also the way that this plays is they should get plants. They should be getting plants, but they should also be getting really good post-plant wins.
They've gotten half the plan figured out. They've been able to get that far.
They have the tools. They have the ults. They just got to make it work.
Dude, they know. That shock dart's so good.
No.
That was clean out of
Spike
KP,
down,
but
attacker spawn.
Serve's just cleaner.
I mean, anytime something goes well for Shopify, something goes well right back for version 1.
Yeah.
And that was a triple face into Sheriff, so you do kind of expect, even after KP gets a few there, for Sarah to do work, but not all 3. Surely not. They lined up for her.
I would love to. I don't know if we'll be able to get the POV of KP's 2K there from Shopify, but that would be nice. But either way, a bit of the same. Numbers, version
30
1.
seconds left.
Big lead, version 1.
Calling my bot.
This might be... No, they probably should get the spike done anyway. I was going to say, this might be the first round in which they don't.
Oh, and they spotted them on the side. I love how they're playing, too. Fluorescent's playing so passive on A, just watching the flank.
Spike planted.
Oh, that was very risky from Sonda there.
Yeah, it was.
Has knives, though, now. Drop the Vandal over to Flowerful, so there's an opportunity. Flowerful. Oh.
One enemy remaining. Last
Well, that
player
stops
standing.
that. A 1v1, though. Or with the op. I mean, she can't really play this aggressively. Unless she just, like, uses it as a cannon. Which she may. She's been known to do. Yeah, you're right.
Second
Hang
smoke.
on to it for now.
Oh my goodness. That is... I think she might have thought the spike was even up there. The way she was jumping.
Yeah.
But either way, the spike was planted so well. I was actually potentially thinking Saunders should have been planning on the back side of that because it was so risky for her to be inside of that little hut. But there we go. Okay, a little earlier this time, and it was thrifty, essentially. I mean,
Yeah, it was 1000%.
they had maybe one gun, I think, in that situation.
Yeah.
Huge run from KP.
Finally, you're on the board. Shopify with 4 ults to work with, and they're key ones too on the attacking side. There are a lot of tools for them to play around here.
And you definitely want to deny. Actually, the money's not great for V1, given how many rounds have come down to one person.
But even then, man, Floor 1 point away from the Blades. The protocol's perfect to get that ult online. And they're able to equalize. Yeah.
The first kills to first deaths on Fracture were absolutely brutal for the side of Shopify, but this time they get a couple big ones. They haven't even used any of those ults that you're talking about, so they can secure this round. This should be 100% wrapped up.
It should be.
Sarah's ulting here?
Yeah. Oh, dear. 1 for 1, though. Could have been disaster. Avoided by Benita. Floor's still up, and I don't know if she has blades anymore. I don't think so. No, but she's got a sheriff. Time is running low here. They're gonna have to. If they're gonna do this, it's got to be quick. Oh my gosh, they're gonna do a ball.
They have to stick with it. No. Yeah, Floor had to stick there, and Sarah's in no position to actually trade that. That definitely was a possibility, but my goodness.
My genius doesn't stop in the lab.
Great round out of Shopify again. Those early picks, that cascade going down B long. Mal just didn't have the support to play back yellow, and that's often something that
Enemy kill.
really hurts against this composition that they're running. Where you're playing the Sage, where you're playing the Killjoy, because you don't have a flash within it.
Right.
You don't have a flash to set up the player on the back of yellow. So she has to more rotate around her orb and oftentimes give up the site, which is what we saw in the first couple of rounds. But there, I definitely think for the first time, maybe this entire series, a little bit of misplaying here coming out from V1 in terms of the setup selection.
The Soul Rifle for version 1 in the hands of Floor, and the position has already been given away. Shopify choose to rotate from that weapon towards A.
I suggest you move.
Again, key ults that will absolutely give him the site, absolutely give him a massive chance in this round. Benita with a cheeky one, actually ulting on top of the headshot box. Look how that goes. Oh my goodness, covers the rope entirely.
Saunders staying alive, dashing around through the site. Viper's Pit still concealing so many angles.
Look where the drone's going. It's going down low, expecting the Viper to be there. But she's up top in the nest.
Oh, that had to be big. That had to be so big out from Sonder, but she falls. Pit still being played.
They're giving it up.
I mean, they kind of have to, right?
One enemy remaining.
The tap is there, and the timing out from KP. Gorgeous. Positioning, so good. And now Fluorescent. Been had. She's been done. 5 HP. The second shock dart not landing, but an inevitability at this point.
Take guns away with her. 2 bullets. That was a great round again. I really love that ult from Benita. It takes so long to clear, and V1's pace on those retakes has been really high, so just denying a little bit more time for them to have to work the drone through completely disrupts their retake. And 2 key ults, but they still have the powerful KJ lockdown, so that could definitely come into effect here.
Enemy remaining.
Especially because how they've had success on that B side tends to lead away from V1 playing aggressive on A. So we'll see if they make the adjustments to go back towards playing aggressive on A and try to deny that space against the KJ ult.
Op for Floor. Light armor as well. On 3 members of version 1, actually.
Oh, she's going top pipes. Oh my goodness.
Of course she is. Instantly tagged by the drone though, and has to give the position back.
And it's actually pulled rotates. Mel's again alone. No pit for her to work with, no pit to deny or anything like that, but this time she has alarm bot.
You should run.
And Molly's.
I mean, Noya's already here. 1 lockdown used.
She's in position to Molly herself, so.
The thing is, Noya can't use theirs because Lori has the ult as the counter, so they kind of have to wait this out. Even if you try to use it for retake, you still have to deal with Lori, but Benita's on a flank, and it's a good one. It's a good one.
Lori is not in position to fall back and use her ult, so they can't really play post plant here.
Your duty is not over.
I mean, do they know? The res, and all right, there's a lockdown. Is there anything to clear it? Oh, Lori's positioning is so good, but she's not able to clear the lockdown out.
Powerful. My goodness, what?
Lori had a shot at it, but switches targets off just a bit too early.
That is so unlucky. But also the idea there to fight, I don't think she really expected that lockdown to go up, and I definitely don't think she expected the KJ to just run through. Noya just ran through a Viper wall, and that definitely caught her by surprise. Which is hilarious because that danger position is supposed to be the opposite. You're supposed to be watching for it. But as soon as that lockdown went through, you saw her crosshair switch to look down. That's so unlucky. We're looking, again, as the last 2 rounds come through at a dominant half from V1. Because this right here, this will decide it. V1 has a little bit of money and still able to buy if they lose the round, but Shopify reset completely.
Look at this pit. Mel has to stay alive here, but this is going to be very difficult to navigate.
That's brutal. Drone doesn't spot it either. They're trying for this.
This is so risky.
Important part here. Oh, she messed up, I think. She had to drop down. I think this ult is supposed to actually give you space to be outside of it with your feet inside so that it keeps the pit up. That way Noya can just play where there's no danger of the pit falling.
Dude, that's nerdy tech right there. Pit is going to go down. Noya is going to have to tuck tail and run away. She's going to round the corner. Ooh, that was close.
Toxin screen down.
Looks like the spike once again will be in play. Co for KP. Dropped in a different playing position here, but the thing is, I mean, that's so close to scaling up.
Funny enough, Noya had a volley on that exact position last time. This time it's just missing.
As soon as this wall goes down, is
Is
there another layer? KP doesn't have another wall. The Reckoning is going to give some of that position away. Benita's position flawless, but Floor still finding one with the op. That was my concern, is from back there. From Snowman, now they have the wall they're going to have to deal with. First panel cleared.
Oh, she's going to ult, I think, from here. Against the op, she's happy.
There it is. The tap, Alexis pushing the pace. Alexis going forward. There's a little cover from KP, and that should secure the round. I don't know that there's another. No, there's not. Floor was just too weak as Lori gets a third, and Shopify get 4.
Last pulse there. I think the right idea for Flora to be the one to end up going on it, but she's not advancing fast enough because of the Hunter's Fury and because she's so low, so Alexis trying to do it all.
And the op, yeah.
And there's the pit I was talking about. You saw how Mel went back up on top of Yellow as the drone missed. And then when she was on top there, she was like looking down to see if it was actually keeping the integrity up, and it just wasn't. So I slightly missed out of Mel. Not the biggest deal though, because it's still such a dominant lead here from V1. And finally, I think we have a round where KP does not have that Reckoning.
Shopify have done a really good job of getting version 1's economy busted though, right? This is another round where they have blades and they have a guardian and things like that.
Come
how
on!
do you deal with that, bro? Yeah, what do you do with
She's
that?
insane. Dude, that's such a wild, random angle, and she one-taps her.
Yeah.
As the first person to contact. It's not even like there was teammates swinging and she got her position.
Yeah.
3 people flanking now, though.
Just dumb.
That might be too many.
No ults, no lockdowns, no Viper's pits, no nothing. How do you even... Well, it's just insane up from Floor. Great response from Flowerful, though. That's huge. Leaving KP in a 1v2, and KP unable to do anything with that.
That is, I mean, absolutely nutty from Floor.
Yeah.
I think you're just speechless at how high she was in that position. I think what she did was jumped off of the belt platform and updrafted it. Used her glide to go the entire way. That's just absolutely absurd. And it's so far away as well so that the players on site don't really have a chance to hear that it's coming. So all of a sudden you just see a jet up in the sky. What a half from V1 again. Not as dominant the Fracture one though, for sure.
Enemy
You
kill.
can definitely point to a little bit of mistakes. But the individual level is just still so high.
Yeah, dude, why would you be looking up there unless you hear it? That's just insane. But either way, Shopify make a run at this. They were up, what, 6-0 at one point, and then they were able to kind of punch back, break some of the economy of version 1, and get a couple extra rounds in there. But An 8-4 half for version 1 nonetheless. Now they're on the attacking side. You're right, that dash through, and it's a kill for Floor. 1 bullet, if I'm not mistaken.
It's so fast. KP's dinked as well. They've just got out of this within the first 10 seconds of the round with 1 player at 7 HP and a 5v3.
Dude, they're waiting for the Benita fight. They know. They knew. I mean, look at them. They were all huddled out. They were expecting the pressure.
And that right there is completely based off of knowing how Benita plays, how Shopify plays, how many times these players, especially IGL Mel, have played against her, knowing, okay, it's now 5v3, somebody's going to push. Benita's definitely going to push this B side.
She's consistent forward, and for good reason, because she finds a lot of success on those flanks, but when the opposing team has a read on it, it just looks rough.
She was a menace at Champs.
Yes, she was. Unchecked a lot. Fluorescent falls, Noya picking up the ghost. Look at how weak they are. A total of 10 HP amongst both of them. Anything drops them at this point.
Who could have predicted this? All right.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been, she could have shot him anywhere, but 2 headshots will do the trick.
You might have thought that was a Viper wall with how low they were coming through it. Just crazy.
One bullet, bro.
Bullet. Oh my god. Surprising, actually, that Lori did not have armor there. I guess she went for a ghost and double shock.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. I missed what the buy was, but you're right.
Yeah. Because you can get armor double shock, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm tripping. Probably tripping.
I don't play Sova very much, so I rely on you to say those things, yeah.
Yeah. I'll do my homework.
5-round lead for version 1. Pace once again out of version 1 as well.
This is a cool setup. They've got the shorty. They've got something to go here. And it doesn't work at all.
No.
Yikes.
Dude, Floor almost put Lori on the wall bank too.
She's gonna kill her through this wall, I guarantee you. Or she'll get shot.
You jinxed it.
Always trust in Floor. I don't care.
It was a cool setup. You're right. I mean, there was a dart that was cleared, and then the shorty on the other side. There were 3, I believe, 3 back yellow at one point.
I think the adjustment I would make there from Shopify is make sure the shorty player is not the first to swing, right?
Yeah.
So that they get a little bit more confident going into that, and the shorty player can close the distance. Because she was the first one to swing. They didn't really have the positioning on where they were. I think they were all almost too far and just didn't find a kill. And you kind of need that in that case. All right. First gun rounds, V1 going for a big bonus. They've got 1 Vandal on the signs of Noya.
Saunders up far. How? Ow. I mean, she had the jump on it, she had the angle, and she walks out with less HP.
Oh, I fell. Whoops.
All good though, version 1 pushing towards A.
Spike
Alexis
down
falls
A.
first, but Fluorescent going hunting. She's gonna spot. Yep. And now Blade's online, as it does not slow down. Lori able to keep them back though, but just for a moment. It's so temporary, it's so momentary.
It's fleeting over and over.
Yeah.
Toxin screen down.
And it just, I mean, what a weird Viper wall, by the way. I saw Mel pinging this. I was like, there's no way. I was like, is there a Harbor on their team? Maybe the Harbor throws that? And I'm like, wait, there's no Harbor.
Yeah.
And then she threw it as a Viper wall. I mean, what? Yeah. It's just disrespectful. It's just disrespectful.
Benita taking some damage off the Molly. Swinging forward. Well done by that. Oh, she's gotten 2. But again, just when there's a sliver of hope, it's just snatched away in the cruelest manner.
Yeah, 11-4, and it's the gun round, the first gun round lost. There's
1 enemy remaining.
Likely only gun round too if it keeps this up.
Yeah, true. It might be a force situation
Yeah.
like we saw. No, they're going to go ahead and play for OT.
Placing swarm grenade.
Not like what we saw in Fracture. Shifting up the buy, but you're right. I mean, a sliver of hope in some of these instances, but I don't think there's really a silver lining here for Shopify.
Nope.
I don't think they even think there's a chance. Dash again, and we saw how it worked on pistol. This time the damage is not as intense.
Well, but it almost worked. KP was really far out, right?
Yes.
If not for the early reaction, KP's caught.
Oh my goodness, look how far back Sonder went to clear out top of tube there. She went all the way back into spawn.
Yeah.
Benita has been liking this Bucky.
Yeah, but they're not going to push into her this time.
And the problem with that, too, is once you decide they're not coming, what do? You have a Bucky. You can't flank.
Right. A tough tool to retake with. But she's going to have to do it anyway with that Bucky that you just mentioned. Sandra the first to fall as the spike goes down.
Again, this wall always so useful against anti-eco. Or against eco, excuse me. So hard to break. You can get that 100%.
Mel knows. The Bucky finds nothing. Oh dear.
Enemy remaining.
The little things are going sideways for Shopify as well. A flawless round, and it's kind of insane to think. I want to say that may be the first flawless round of the map. For a beating this bad, it's just, you would think there were so many more of those, but version 1 making a perfect round right at the end.
Yeah. Definitely needed. I can't believe this is what we're looking at the end of this. 12-4.
Yeah. Floor at 24 and 10.
Again,
she almost dropped a 30. Yeah, almost dropped a 30 bomb if I'm not mistaken. Map 1, flirting with it again.
No silver linings. And they're not even bothering with any different ideas.
Yeah, yeah. If it ain't broke.
Molly added to that. Mel threw a Molly from spawn onto top of boiler there to deny KP the peek from that position. But look, they're pulling out the drone again this time. Sandra actually has the op top yellow. Angle that Floor used so often. She's actually much closer though.
Is there diligence out from V1? Yep, the drone.
Enemy tag.
Just like that. Oh, and it didn't even get. Yeah.
Oh, and she used her dash.
Skills back a fair amount. Benita playing back yellow.
They can't let the spike go down. They can't let this pick go down for Mel.
Well, I mean, they can't do anything wrong at this point. It requires perfect valor. That's big out from Benita. But that should be traded.
Oh, no.
It's not. Huge. Pit's still up, though. And that's the real problem. Yeah, you've got to get through this pit, and they haven't been able to.
Toxins going up.
Sure, but no plant either.
Kill my allies.
Spam about to come in. Mel has to be very careful not to be in there.
30 seconds left.
Did they have the option to rotate away, too? Or they had a few seconds to go?
Nobody broke the wall. Nobody broke the wall.
They're just staying. Oh.
Spike
20 seconds
down,
left.
B.
Floor waiting for just the right moment to pounce, just the right moment to strike. 15 seconds now. Spike eventually picked up, and it's going to get planted. Floor's past it. She got the timing. Mel's on the first. Floor's on the second.
Spike planted.
And Flowerful has gotten it down to 1v1. A few taps. Again, the pit still the problem. This Flowerful has to take matters into her own hands. Steps right into the pit. The tap onto the spike. Waiting, seeking, searching for Mel. Will she be found? She's running out of time! But well done by Flowerful. Just the gun, just the tip of the gun giving it away.
That was insanely fast reflex from Flowerful there. And again, something that's not considered. Usually the Viper sees you first, so for her to react on just the bare information there is actually nasty. Version 1 there, Mel had to do too much by herself. I think when Alexis went down, Fluorescent waiting so long to get through, waiting for that high tide to go down, and then pushing, not really helping inside the pit, definitely hurt them. But either way, still such a dominant lead. I'm looking at these ults though. You can definitely start to see a couple rounds go in the favor of Shopify right now.
Yeah.
What did Wyatt predict? 12-6? He's the prophet, so.
That drone should push Benita off the pit. But she's playing just on the other side of it. Tucks right back in. Integrity full.
Nasty setup on A. For Shopify, they have Sandra up in Nest. Again, swap the op onto the KJ this time. She's watching mid. And look at KP. Look at the Sova Lori as well. They've got a Hunter's Fury that could go in with that. A lot of different things.
Do they go tube? They haven't really. I mean, they've gone up enough to clear some stuff out, but they haven't fully committed to a kitchen push.
I'm surprised nobody on Shopify is even really considering this right now because of all the information that they actually have on A. They're going to smoke it.
No way.
Yes, Flower
she
heard.
knows.
Sure.
No more
She knows. First shot lands. Sarah falls. Uh-oh. Oh no. Unfortunate scenes for Flowerful. But a tough circumstance to be in, regardless.
Oh, they're planning the same way as the last time. Missing it.
Spike
She's going to be stunned. She's going to be dead. Oh my goodness, missed.
Just narrowly, too. Even in the face of the reckoning. Numbers for version 1. Bonita going up and is greeted with a giant wall. Has to reload. Alexis waiting on the other side. He's got a chance for 2 here. She has a chance for 2. Only gets 1, though.
Is this spam? Are they going to be able to spam it down in time? Noya has
Maybe
to help.
half. Oh, I don't even think she got half, but it doesn't matter. A 13-5 win for version 1 and a stomping onto Shopify Rebellion.
That is one of the nastiest 2-0s that I've seen in a long time, given the stakes, given the history, given how often we've seen the different factions on these teams play up against each other and how crucial of a rivalry it's been for the Game Changer scene here in North America. That is unbelievable, the form that you see out of version 1 right there.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. You look through the series, you look through the tournament run and you go, okay, a 13-5, a 13-2, right? These two teams are just head and shoulders above everyone else, and this should be a closer series. But for version 1, nothing changes. They're beating the team that's supposed to be the second best team in North American Game Changers to the same degree that they've beaten everyone else. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, that is just ridiculous. And now they're in the grand finals. They were already top 3, now top 2. You expect as well that that grand finals to be. I mean, actually, at this point, looking at Shopify's form, I don't know. Even I won't get to that, but I'm looking forward to the next couple of games. This is definitely going to be a fun one to see how version 1, I mean, continue to improve too, because the form that we actually saw from them today compared to what we saw when this roster first started back in the Open Qualifiers for the NA Challenger League is night and day. I mean, the executes are there. Effie's, the coach, has been drilling them very hard, you could tell. I mean, the discipline even in floor in some instances, and some instances not, but very fun to watch.
Bad habits die hard. The crazy thing is, as you were saying, FE's Melt, you know they're going to go back and they're going to watch this, and they're going to look for every weakness that they left in this stomp to shore those up. But we are going to throw it down to the desk to see what they think about that series.
Thanks so much, Doug. I can't believe this series was as one-sided as it was. 2-0 in favor of version 1, who move on to the grand finals and await a new challenger from the lower bracket. But in your eyes, Mimi, we gotta over-exaggerate. We gotta freak out here.
Love exaggerating.
Is version 1 looking like the best team in North America?
I mean, I think they're playing like the best team in North America. Wow, you came in talking about the confidence, and we sure as hell saw that. Fluorescent was playing out of her mind. Alexis, Noya, Sarah had insane clutch moments, and the calls were good for Mel's. But like the casters were just talking about, the coordination was there too. This team looks like a squad who has been together far longer than they already have. They look like a squad who is well prepped on their ideas, on their preparation, on their adaptations, and I just don't know who they can beat. Who can beat them? Because Shopify is the team who I thought would have it down pat, who I thought would have a chance at maybe pulling this one off.
How about you, Wyatt? Is version 1 looking like the best team in North America? Should we call it this early? Do you want to wait for the final?
Yeah, they might be the best team in North America. It's definitely possible. But in the last 2 months, though, just seeing how far they've come since this team was formed, and if you had watched them earlier in the year when they were participating in like the Challengers Open Qualifiers, that was only a couple weeks after the team had actually been created till now. It's insane how good they've gotten. I mean, from what they decide to do in the mid-round to the actual game plans in regard to the bigger plays like the executes and the retakes, the player skill, how good they are right now, it's swinging for each other, trading, the crossfires are good. It feels like they've somehow been able to just get it all in like 2 months. So yeah, I mean, they look like the best team in Game Changers NA, and they're just the best team in NA too. I'll overreact to the maximum. It's fine.
Yeah,
they're just the best team.
That's such a crazy bit for the stories of this one as well, because Shopify up to last year were on top of the world. They beat Cloud9 White. They were top 2 champions. They were the best NA team, and now coming into this matchup, not just losing, but losing in the way in which they did, I think kind of throws the idea that they've taken over the spot as being the best team in our region completely out the window, because the expectations were sky high and they clearly did not live up to them here. Part of that is just because V1 is insane. Part of that is mistakes on their own. But this is really going to shift the way that we look at version 1 and the rest of this tournament as it plays out.
Well, Mimi, one player that definitely lived up to those big expectations, an exciting one, was Sarah's version 1's initiator. Tell me about her.
I mean, Sarah was incredible. We've always known that she is a top-level talent. Back to her time playing with Immortals last year, she was consistently good. She switched from playing as kind of more of like a ranked demon, just fantastic individual, to now flexing on over to all sorts of different roles on the initiator for Immortals and now for this squad as well. And she was incredible throughout this one. Playing on the Gecko, her util usage was sound, her individual performance was excellent, and in map 2, she kept all of that up. You talked about the structure, the coordination, the trading. So much of that is Sarah, being the person who sets Floor up for success and trades her out if she ever does fall, and is also just fantastic in the late rounds. This feels like the roster where finally the hype around Sarah is actually something that she can live up to, because she's always been a good individual, but this is now a team environment where she utterly thrives.
That's such a good point, right? Because we talk about Shopify Rebellion being this solid core who have shown and proven that they're a successful team. And you have this rebuild from version 1 of these incredible pieces. And the fact that, Wyatt, you said they're matching up so well, so quickly is a sight to see. Maybe we'll see that gap close as many series go on. But at least, Wyatt, you wanted to highlight kind of how aggressive the offense was for version 1, but most notably their retakes.
Yeah, it was really on their defense. Their retakes were just so good on this map. They knew when to contest when Shopify were coming in to plant the spike, and then how to regroup and effectively retake over and over. The thing that they were so good at was actually being able to retake from all angles, which is something you're kind of going to see in this clip here. During this retake, they were actually on a bit of a weird buy, and Fluorescent with the knives able to get that kill in the backline. And then you can see where Mel is rotated here to help Noya, who's going to come in from the catwalk. They still have those 3 players coming in all the way from the attacker's spawn side, and it just completely crunched Shopify. And this was the kind of thing you were just seeing over and over from them, whether it was A or B. They were so well positioned for the retakes. The only time they really couldn't do that was on some of the rounds where they opted to have the operator, because it's tough to get value out of it against that Harbor Viper comp and just always retaking in general. But for all of those rounds where it came down to the rifles on the retakes, they were just so good.
Yeah, and honestly, that just shows, I think, again, the fantastic calling that we've come to expect out of Mel. She's a really proactive leader, taking the idea, okay, we had the initial idea of going for this heavy flank together. Now we're going to pivot, go for the pinch instead. It's all just so well done out of B1. The 2-0 that they pull off today is such an incredible surprise, and I think right now for this squad, there's nothing less to expect than them to win this tournament. The grand finals tomorrow is going to be so exciting, no matter who they face.
I know, and we still have 2 more matches today to determine who's going up against version 1 in that grand final. Will it be Shopify Rebellion again, or X Set Purple, or Moist Moguls Red? There's a lot of contenders on the bottom side, but everyone stay tuned. We're going to give you the Prime Gaming post-match highlights. When we return, I'll have an interview with Mel to go over the win and who they expect to be in the finals with them. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone, from the break. If you just missed it, the upper final ended in quick fashion. Version 1 taking down Shopify Rebellion, sending them to the lower bracket. And for our Verizon post-match interview, I have IGL Mel from Version 1. Congratulations. Smiles and vibes are good. I gotta ask you, because the desk, we were all hyping y'all up. Do you think Version 1 is the best Game Changers team in North America?
If we show up that day and we play our best, I think we are, but who's to say? You know, there's still another match to be played out. We haven't won quite yet, so still gonna keep our head down. We want to focus on ourselves and make sure we're trying to play to our peak potential every match.
And I felt like we saw some of your peak potential there. Y'all look scary today. And I know the analysts were very curious. Do you think that this roster has a higher ceiling than Cloud9 White?
I think this roster absolutely has a higher ceiling than Cloud9 White. I kind of realized that when we played our first Open Qualifier together and we had like the same result that like quote unquote peak C9 White had. So in my eyes, this team obviously has like a huge skill ceiling. And I think as well our skill floor has risen as well.
That's so awesome to hear. It feels like the sky's the limit for y'all. I'd love to know kind of you as an IGL, what were the differences between IGLing for your previous roster and this one? And can you tell us about some of the challenges you faced?
For sure. I think on this roster, coming in as like a leader has been a little bit different. Obviously, we have different strengths and weaknesses. But, you know, with Cloud9 White, that was a team where we came from the bottom together. Like 2 years together. Like I owe lots of that roster. We went really far. And because we grew together, it wasn't as like, hey, I'm like kind of like a mom figure. I'm just like another teammate, right? Obviously a leader in some ways. But for this team, it's a bit different. I'm the oldest, not by much, just by like 2 years. But it definitely feels like more of like a leadership figure on this team. For sure.
Hey, 2 years is a lot in the esports world. I know Bayon's like called a grandfather on the desk, so watch out, you're close to retirement with that. But who do you think is going to come out of the lower bracket between XSET, MXM, and Shopify Rebellion? Are you expecting a rematch or not?
I'm expecting a rematch with Shopify Rebellion, to be honest, but I think the way that this GC has gone, I think it could go any way. I'm going to be rooting for, you know, my former teammates on XSET, but also Moist Moguls can be like a dark horse and do some damage for sure.
I know, it's going to be wild. And we have to sort that all today, and you get to sit back and watch and chill for tomorrow. So congrats on today. Thank you for the interview, and good luck tomorrow. Hope it works out.
Awesome. Thank you. Shout out to the fans and my team as well. And my coach Effie's. We've been working really hard. So thank you guys for watching.
Oh, the shout outs at the end. I got to do that more. The wholesomeness. It's just overwhelming. But we have 2 more matches today, y'all, to find out who's going up against Version 1. Up next, we have Moist Moguls versus XSET. And the winner of that faces Shopify Rebellion. All best of 3s. Caster's desk changing up. So we're going to hit a break. When we get back, more gameplay around the corner.
What is this from EA? He is currently unstoppable. True. He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's EA. Welcome to my course on optimal VALORANT training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.